My brother has often commented that backing into parking spaces is safer, and intuitively this makes sense, but I wanted to see what the data shows and was shocked at what I discovered. In the USA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA, estimates that backovers injure around 15,000 people per year. Another estimated 300 people per year are killed by backovers. And so if you were to put this into weekly statistics, that's about 280 injuries a week and 4 to 5 deaths a week, which is horrible. And you can see all the tables and visuals that I'm mentioning here in this podcast in the actual article linked in the description to this. If you look at the data, most of the injuries and the fatalities are occurring in people under the age of 5 or over the age of 70 years old. And when you look at the injury data, those injuries are occurring, over half of them, in parking lots, which are essentially in shopping centers and stores, so non-residential parking lots. And this is obvious why this happens. When you look at the fatality data, most of the fatalities are occurring in driveways. So the majority of the fatalities are occurring in driveways. So it's around 1 in 4. And this happens most often to children that are around the age of 1 year old. And the circumstances might be that children are playing in the driveway and the driver is unaware that they are there when they back up. Or kidsincars.org has labeled another really unfortunate event as bye-bye syndrome, which is where a child will enter into the driveway when someone is leaving, such as to wave goodbye, and then they're not seen behind the car because they're too short. And what we're looking at in the article next is an illustration from the NHTSA that shows that if you have a child which is 28 inches tall, so that's about the height of a 1-year-old or just under, they would be in the blind spot behind the vehicle for 36 feet. And this is roughly the same whether you're looking at a car or a truck when you look at these schematics from the NHTSA, which is an extremely far distance to have a blind spot for a 1-year-old. The other issue which you can run into is that if someone is taller than 28 inches, so if they're older than a year, they're still going to be in the blind spot. The blind spot may not be as far as 36 feet behind the vehicle, but until they're really taller than the back window, they're still going to be in the blind spot. The other issue is, and the NHTSA actually presents a case example where a child fell off of their bike when they were crossing a sidewalk, and then they ended up being backed over by the truck because the child was trapped under the bike on the ground, and in this way they were less than 28 inches from the ground. And as I said earlier, we run into issues where you might have children which are taller, they're 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, but if they're sitting on the ground in the driveway playing, they're at risk for a backover. Now, in terms of other risk factors from the driver's side, these backovers are occurring by drivers of all ages. They occur from drivers of both sexes, and fatalities and injuries occur from all types of vehicles, although there's a slightly higher trend among SUVs and trucks. You can see all the data on the article, and at the bottom we have some reference links to the actual original NHTSA reports, specifically their report to Congress in 2008 with a bunch of data in there, and their 2015 traffic statistics. Up here in Canada, my understanding is we don't keep as specific data around this issue, and perhaps some of those data isn't available. In the next article, I want to discuss some of the practical downsides and benefits about backing into parking spaces and the variation in this practice worldwide.